Okay, so we will read some more. Cindy Yo. Okay, you can read. Okay, now, so the story continue here. Okay. Right. So the Blessed One went to the hermitage of Lamaka, the Brahman. Now, at that time, a large number of monks had gathered in the hermitage of Lamaka, the Brahman, for a Dhamma discussion. The Blessed One, now you can see the terms here become Blessed One. Yeah, earlier one also Blessed One, okay? Now, Blessed One means Bhagawa. The Blessed One stood outside the door waiting for the discussion to end, or knowing that the discussion has ended, clearing his throat, he tapped at the door. The monks opened the door for him. Entering the hermitage of the Ramaka the Brahman, the Blessed One sat down on a seat made ready. Now, as he was sitting there, he addressed the monks, "For what discussion are you gathered together here? In the midst of what discussion have you been interrupted?" Lord, our interrupted Dhamma discussion was about the Blessed One himself, and then the Blessed One arrived. Okay, now we have a few points here. First one is they are considered as good monks. Okay. Good monks means they are doing the Dhamma discussion. So we are good monks. So that's why, because they are good monks, that's the reason why the Buddha purposely go there to find them, give Dhamma talk to them. And you can see that it's actually here is look like the Buddha actually waiting for them to finish the discussion, you know. Another thing is you see this point. Why the seat made ready? There are few reasons. One reason is sometimes I read some of the commentary say sometimes the seat are made ready in case the Buddha came. But for this place, purposely they make the seat ready because the Ananda told them the Buddha, the Ananda actually implied the Buddha might go there. So that's why they make the seat ready for the Buddha. It's a prepared one. So in Pali, you can see sometimes this kind of occasion. Many times, the seats are left for the Buddha to come. Okay. So the Buddha want to know what are the discussion. So they say our discussion is about the Blessed One, and then the Blessed One come. Now this Lord, Lord is short translate from the Pali word Bante. Normally Bante they translate to Lord, but some translator nowadays, modern translators say we should not use the Lord because it will confuse with the Christian, the Lord Jesus. Okay, so they suggest we should use the word venerous. Okay, but since this is translated by the, I think by the one of the monks there, so we just give it. So we either put this one or venerous also can, right? Nowadays people say we don't use the word Lord Buddha anymore. We can say the Buddha. Yeah. Okay, now you can see here. Sister Yo, you can read.
Yes, Aji. Good monks, it's fitting that you, as sons of good families who have gone forth out of faith from home to the homeless life, should gather for Dharma discussion. When you have gathered, you have two duties, either Dharma discussion or noble silence. Monks, there are these two searches, ignoble search and noble search. And what is ignoble search? That is the case where a person, being subject himself to birth, seeks happiness in what is likewise subject to birth, being subject himself to aging, illness, death, sorrow, defilement. He seeks happiness in what is likewise subject to illness, death, sorrow, defilement.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Sai.
so yeah, thank you. So you can see here that's why the Buddha praised them. All right, either for monks or any vulnerable, they meet, either they should talk about the Dhamma, not talk about politics, not talk about economy or whatever. Talk about Dhamma, discuss the Dhamma. If they had nothing to do, then they keep noble silent. Okay. Now from this point onwards, the uh, Buddha start to teach them. All right, you can see teaching them. This is the main point here. Teaching them on the two searches. Okay. Now, noble search means that the right way of searching. Ignoble talking about the wrong way or stupid way, you can say that in a way. For example, he said, if somebody already subject to birth, you also looking for something subject to birth. Or is somebody subject to aging, then he also seek happiness in aging. Here is actually very high philosophy. Means that if you have life problem, you are looking for happiness in the life problem. Can you follow me? Okay. If you have life problem, then how can you find happiness in the life problem? All these are aging, sickness, death, all defilements, all these are problem in life. So how can you find happiness in this kind of thing? So this is called ignoble. Ignoble in a way is not clever. Or we directly say is a foolish way. Foolish way. Okay. Now, so that's why this sutta is very deep also, because it talk about the life. Thomas?
And what may be said to be subject of birth? Spouses and children are subject to birth. Men and women, slaves, goats and sheep, fowl and pigs, elephants, cattle, horses and mares, gold and silver are subject to birth. Subject to birth are these acquisitions, and one who is tied to them, infatuated with them, who has totally fallen for them, being subject to birth, seeks what is likewise subject to birth. And what may be said to be subject to aging, illness, death, sorrow, defilement, spouses and children, men and women, slaves, goats and sheep, fowl and pigs, elephants, cattle, horses and mares, gold and silver, are subject to aging, illness, death, sorrow, defilement. Subject to aging, illness, death, sorrow, defilement are these acquisitions, and one who is tied to them, infatuated with them, who has totally fallen for them, being subject to birth, seeks what is likewise subject to aging, illness, death, sorrow, defilement. This is ignoble search.
Okay. So when you read this, can you tell me what do you think is trying to tell us? Thomas?
It's telling that all the things of the world that are desired are not likewise to give happiness, like all the things of desire in other people or wealth, they are the same, subject to dukkha, and they cannot give happiness. And this is the way
Okay.
of the ignoble search.
Okay, yes. Okay, so all these are problematic because children will pass away. slaves will pass away, goats and sheep also will die, and even money also will disappear. Okay, of course, money and gold and silver will not subject to illness and death, but it just say they are subject to disappearance and so on, right? So if all these are problematic things and somebody still looking happiness in this kind of thing, so it's called ignoble search. So there's a keyword here. Okay, when you see this dot dot dot, that means that this sentence is repeat, right? For example, okay, so all the sentence will be repeat many times. That's why they want to put, if you're going to put everything together like above, okay, okay. So this means that when he's busy subject to that, you have to fill in the blank with all the earlier sentence. It take too long. So that's why it all skip it with the dot dot dot. Okay, now. Okay, in this part. Okay. Next person. Sister Sumitra Khan? Yes. Okay.
And what is the noble search? There is the case where a person, himself being subject to birth, seeking the drawbacks of birth, seeks the unborn, unexcelled rest for the yoke, unbinding. Himself being subject to aging, illness, death, sorrow, defilement, seeing the drawbacks of aging, illness, death, sorrow, defilement, seeks the agingless, illnessless, deathless, sorrowless, undefiled, unexcelled rest from the yoke, unbinding. This is the noble search.
Okay.
I too, monks. Okay.
Okay, wait, do you know what is this deathless? Sorrowless? Do you know what is this? Huh? Nibbana, all right. So this is talking about, if we see the word deathless, it's definitely talking about Nibbana. Like I'm abiding, also refer to Nibbana. Okay. So this means that if somebody see the drawback means disadvantage of birth. Because once you got birth, you will have subject to aging, sickness, sorrow, and lamentation. Okay, so when the mind already see the problem of birth, aging, sickness, then the mind want to look for a place with no aging, no sickness, and means that the mind is looking for nibbana. Okay, so this is the nibbana, and unbinding is definitely refer to nibbana. So you can see the keyword here, deathless binding. So he's in a way he's talking about nibbana here. So the whole thing refer to nibbana. All right. So noble search means looking for nibbana, the state of mind that is without aging, suffering, and so on. So at this point, the Buddha explained what is ignoble search, what is noble search. Ignoble search means looking for the same problem issue, the first noble truth. So noble search is looking for the third noble truth. Okay, now we continue here. Now the Buddha here, he say his own story. So previously it's kind of like so from this sutta, so far the Buddha is making a statement only. So from this part onward, he is telling his own story. Okay. Okay, Sister Sumitra Khan, you can continue to read, right? Yes.
I too, monks, before my awakening, when I was an unawakened Bodhisattva, being subject myself to birth, sought what was likewise subject to birth. Being subject myself to aging, illness, death, sorrow, defilement, I sought happiness in what was likewise subject to illness, death, sorrow, defilement. The thought occurred to me, why do I, being subject myself to birth, seek what is likewise subject to birth? Being subject myself to aging, illness, death, sorrow, defilement. Why do I seek what is likewise subject to illness, death, sorrow, defilement? What if I, being subject myself to birth, seeing the drawbacks of birth, were to seek the unborn, unexcel rest from the yoke, unbinding? What if I, being subject myself to aging, illness, death, sorrow, defilement, seeing the drawbacks of aging, illness, death, sorrow, defilement, were to seek the agingless, illnessless, deathless, sorrowless, unexcel rest from the yoke, unbinding?
Okay, thank you. So,
Okay.
so at this point, the Buddha is telling his own story. He's telling his disciple about what happened to him before awakening. Now you can see the word bodhisattva, all right? Bodhisattva means Buddha to be. So sometimes people ask, did the bodhisattva, when they are on the path to be enlightened, do they know that they are bodhisattva? But for the Prince Siddhartha, do you think that he know that he was bodhisattva? Yes or no? Any of you? What do you think? Any of you think the Prince Siddhartha knew that he was a bodhisattva? Any answer?
No.
No. Why? You say no, why? It's something
I
to
try.
consider, right?
I
Huh?
try whenever I think.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Because
it's
he's
okay.
still
You can.
subject. He's still subject to birth, age,
Okay, yeah, of
sickness.
course he's
Yeah.
subject to birth, aging, but did he know that he was a bodhisattva? That's the question.
I think if he had known, he wouldn't have needed to go the wrong ways of practice first. Because
Okay.
if he had
So
known, he would have known the right way.
yeah. So yeah, he didn't know. He didn't know. That's why he get married, right? And he also practiced the wrong way. Definitely, he did not know. That was why he was having all the sensual desire and so on. But because he was a bodhisattva, that's why gradually he will get very tired of all the luxury thing, all the singing, dancing, and so on. Automatically, he will look for the path, right? Okay. So you can see here when we look at like just now, okay, where he look at it, when I was unawakened means that he was not awakened, bodhisattva. This is just say that now, after now, of course now when he already awakened, he was talking about the path, the process of become the Buddha. He was not a Buddha yet at that time. Okay, he didn't know that he was a bodhisattva. But he after that, when he as a Prince Siddhartha, he get very tired of all the, he saw the four signs. He said that he see somebody aging, somebody sick, then he see somebody dead person, and finally he see somebody looking for the path. Okay. Then he also think that uh why? He also want to get away from all these problematic issue in life. So he see the disadvantage, drawbacks of birth. So he was looking for nibbana. He was looking for liberation from the aging, illness, death, sorrow, and limitation. So that's the thing he's trying to say here. Okay, now, so it's really interesting to look at the suttas. Uh, Okay, so we continue. We do it slowly because this part is actually very interesting also. Right, next person. Yeah. Okay, maybe we can invite other students. Brother King, you want to yeah, you can read also if you want. Yes.
I try, Venerable.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
So
Yes.
at a later time, while still young, a black-haired young man endowed with the blessing of youth in the first stage of life, and while my parents, unwilling, were crying with tears streaming down their faces, I shaved off my hair, beard, put on the ochre robe, and went forth from the home life into homelessness. Having thus gone forth in search of what might be skillful, seeking the unexcelled state of sublime peace, I went to Alara Kalama and, on arrival, said to him, "Friend Kalama, I want to practice in this doctrine and discipline." When this was said, he replied to me, "You may stay here, my friend. This doctrine is such that a wise person can soon enter and dwell in his own teacher's knowledge, having realized it for himself through direct knowledge." Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Now you can see here, he was still very young. Now, according to story, we know that he was around 29 years old. Okay. And here, now, this problem is a little bit problematic, this sentence. So, my parents, unwilling, were crying with tears. So, it looked like they know that he's going forth, you know. He was want to leave the house, because when we look at this sentence, like they are crying, and then he shaved off his hair and beard. Okay, so people always think that this sentence is a little bit out here, because we all know the Prince Siddhartha, he ran away, literally he ran away from the palace with nobody know at all. Okay, so anyway, this sentence is just to show that both the king and the queen, they were very unhappy, not willing to be to be apart from him, not willing of him leaving the family, go become a monk. Now the tradition is like they shave the hair and beard. That's the reason why people ask us. I listen few questions. People ask me. I sometimes talk with the ladies about ordination. The question they ask me, do they need to shave their hair or not? When we talk about the ordination, the ladies say, do they want to shave their hair? I say yes. Now the question people ask you, why do you need to shave the hair, right? Because we are following the Buddha's path. That is, you can see here, Buddha shaved the hair and beard. Okay, yeah. So Kumar, you can start to follow already. Shave your beards. Okay, okay. So put on the robes. Went for now. This is a standard phrase in Bali. Home life went forth from the home life into homelessness. So this is called papaja. Now he went for the first teacher, because at that time there's nobody practice vipassana. Okay, nobody practice vipassana. So what was the method practicing at that time? It was the samatha. So they went for the first teacher, Alala Kalama. So later there will be a stage. Alala. I didn't put all this one. Alala. Should be this one, is it? Not this one. Okay. Anyway, Alala Kalama. Now he went there, and this teacher is actually very polite also, and very, very welcoming. He said, if you practice well, anybody with good knowledge or wise, they can attain it, they can realize it. Now, this is another statement for doctrine and Vinaya. So we call it Dhamma Vinaya. Okay, direct translation of Dhamma Vinaya. But when we look at it, it's not the Dhamma, it's not the Buddha Dhamma at the time. Because literally it's called Dhamma, doctrine discipline, it's called Dhamma Vinaya. It's talking about the Dhamma and Vinaya of their practice, not the Buddha Dhamma Vinaya. Okay, so this is the first teacher, Alara Kalama. Okay. Kim Fei, yeah, Lo Kim Fei. Can you read? Yes. Slowly, please don't read so fast. Slowly.
Okay,
yes.
sure. Yeah. It was not long before I quickly learned the doctrine. As far as mere lip reciting and repetition, I could speak the words of knowledge, the words of the elders, and I could affirm that I knew and saw. I, along with others, I thought it isn't through mere conviction alone that Alara Kalama declares, I have entered and dwelt in this Dhamma, having realized it for myself through direct knowledge. Certainly, he dwells knowing and seeing this Dhamma. So, I went to him and said, to what extent do you declare that you have entered and dwelt in this Dhamma? When this was said, he declared the dimension of nothingness. I thought, not only does Alara Kalaman have conviction, persistence, mindfulness, concentration, and discernment, I, too, have conviction, persistence, mindfulness, concentration, and discernment. What if I were to endeavor to realize for myself the Dhamma that Alara Kalama declares he has entered and dwells in, having realized it for himself through direct knowledge? So it was not long before I quickly entered and dwelt in that Dhamma, having realized it for myself through direct knowledge. I went to him and said, Friend Kalama, is this the extent that to which you have entered and dwelt in this Dhamma, having realized it for yourself through direct knowledge?
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, now you can see the ascetic. At this point, we don't call him the prince because he was not prince. We call it ascetic Gautama. So he learned very fast because he was very, as a prince Siddhartha, he's very had learned lots of the Veda, the Indian knowledge and so on. Of course, he's a very learned prince. Now, as a ascetic Gautama, he learned very fast. How did he learn? You see, what you say that when the teacher was saying the method to practice the jhana, so then he also repeat together with the deep reciting. Like the teacher say A, B, C, so he also say A, B, C. That's the meaning of deep reciting and repetition. Like when a teacher say something, you follow with your mouth. Then he remember everything, the method. So the teacher only need to repeat one time, need to say only one time. No need repetition, right? Like nowadays we all are very we call it very dull one. The teacher had to say 3 times, 4 times. Okay, very tired for a teacher. So the teacher very easy. The teacher say one time, so he already get it. So next time you can follow the ascetic Gautama. So when somebody give you instruction, like the person say how you do A, you do B, do C. So at the same time, you also repeat. I do A, I do B, I do C. So this is the meaning of reciting and repetition. Very fast. Then he knew. Okay, so this means that he already know the method how to practice according to this statement. And along with others mean there are other students as well. Then he say that he also said that the teacher not just conviction. Conviction means that not just theory only, but the teacher really practice by himself, really understand into this Dhamma. This Dhamma is it's not the Buddha Dhamma yet. It's just the jhana. Okay. All right. So actually the teacher at that time is talking about nothingness. Now, nothingness is, we call it the third arupa. Sorry. Arupa jhana. Formless jhana. Formless jhana means there's immaterial. Sometimes we use the word immaterial. Immaterial jhana. So normally there are 4 rupa jhana. 4 rupa jhana. Then there are 4 arupa jhana. Totally there are 8 jhana. 8 stage of jhana. So this is a third arupa jhana. So it's a 7 stages. Okay. So third arupa jhana. It's actually quite high, quite high. Now, you can see here, we are talking about the how to practice. This is talking about, if we look at it, we can interpret it as 5 faculties. You have faith, sada. You have effort. You have mindfulness. You have concentration. And you have wisdom also. Discernment is something to wisdom. You have the 5 faculties. So these 5 of them. So the teacher have these 5 faculties. I also have. Right? So he want to practice. So after that, not long, he practiced very fast, and then he gained it. Then he went to teacher and get confirmation. Is that the extent? You rise it. Then he say, yes, my friend. Okay. This friend is the extent to which I too have entered and dwell in this Dhamma. This Dhamma means refer to the nothingness, having realized it for myself through direct knowledge. Okay, so next student. Okay, Brother Ko Hin Sek. Yeah, you want to read?
Okay, I try. Okay.
Read slowly, okay? Read slowly. Yeah, the Dhamma is deep here. Okay.
It is a gain for us, my friend, a great gain for us, that we have such a companion in the holy life. So the Dhamma I declare, I have entered and dwell in, having realized it for myself through direct knowledge, is the Dhamma you declare you have entered and dwell in, having realized it for yourself through direct knowledge. And the Dhamma you declare you have entered and dwell in, having realized it for yourself through direct knowledge, is the Dhamma I declare and I have entered and dwell in, having realized it for myself through direct knowledge. The Dhamma I know is the Dhamma you know. The Dhamma you know is the Dhamma I know. As I am, so are you. As you are, so am I. Come, friend, let us now lead this community together. In this way, did Alara Kalama, my teacher, place me, his pupil, on the same level with himself and pay me great honor. But the thought occurred to me, this Dharma leads not to disenchantment, to dispassion, to cessation, to stealing, to direct knowledge, to awakening, nor to unbinding, but only to reappearance in the dimension of nothingness. So, dissatisfied with that Dharma, I left.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Okay, now you can see the teacher is very generous, very generous, because he placed the pupil on the same level. Because to get this nothingness is not easy, because it's according to the jhana, is the 7 jhana. It's very high. Not everybody will get it. Even nowadays, not a lot of people get it. It's very difficult. So that's why the teacher placed the pupil, the ascetic Gautama, and 7 level, and pay respect, pay honor to him. Not pay respect, pay honor to him. Means that maybe ask other students, oh, ascetic Gautama has attained my level. You all can pay respect to him like this. All right. So he's very generous, not jealous. Normally some of the teacher, if the student have the same achievement, they are not happy. All right. But the problem is, ascetic Gautama understand this Dhamma, jhana, does not lead to dispassion, means does not lead to reducing of the greed, hatred, delusion, and not even to the awakening or to nibbana. Right? But only maybe, let's say if he practice this jhana, if he pass away, he will reborn to this plan, we call it nothingness. All right. What is nothingness? Okay, just briefly call this. All right. Now, rupa jhana is you practice, the mind still have the material thing. Arupa jhana is especially with nothingness. So if somebody pass away with this kind of very high jhana, they are reborn in the very high 31 plans. Those 30 plans, the highest 30th one, with no body. It's only mental energy. Right? So if he passed away with this nothingness, he reborn there as a being with mental energy without body at all. So even, let's say, anybody who go to this nothingness is considered, it's unfortunate place. Why? Because they have no body, only the mental energy, and if somebody want to preach the Dhamma to them, they cannot listen at all. So this is not considered a good place to go if somebody not enlightened. All right? Because if you have no...
Sarah, can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Is Rupa Jhana equivalent to Sotapanna? Is it one of the
No.
four?
No. Rupa jhana is just a jhana. It is a... What is jhana? Jhana means it's a very deep samadhi, deep concentration. So your mind is like literally fixed on an object. So you might stay there maybe like a statue 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 5 hour, 6 hour, because of the very deep concentration. But once they come out from the jhana, their mind still have defilement. Okay, that is because you can see the Buddha, he said himself. He say he know that it does not lead to this passion. So the jhana is still has passion. Okay, can you follow? Okay. Okay. So he's not happy with this teacher, not happy with this first teacher and the method. Now he went for the second teacher. Right? This is a second teacher. So the first teacher is called Alala Kalama. The second is called Udaka Lama Buddha. Udaka is the name. Rama is the teacher. Buddha literally means son or disciple. So Udaka is the son or disciple of Rama. Okay? Udaka is the name. Buddha is it, the Malay word putra, right? Putra or Buddha is the son of Rama. So means that either real son, I think most likely maybe just a disciple also. Okay, now I think like this, we will finish it, then we stop here. Okay, somebody read. Just in.
When this was said, When this was said, he replied to me,
This one? This one.
in search of what might be skillful, seeking the unexhaled state of sublime peace, I went to Uttaka Ramaputta and on arrival said to him, Friend Uttaka, I want to practice in this doctrine and this discipline. When this was said, he replied to me, You may stay here, my friend. This doctrine is such that a wise person can soon enter and dwell in his own teacher's knowledge, having realized it for himself through direct knowledge. It was not long before I quickly learned the doctrine. As far as mere lip reciting and repetition, I could speak the words of knowledge, the words of elders, and I could affirm that I knew and saw, I along with others. I thought it was not through mere conviction alone that Rama declared, I have entered and dwelt in this Dhamma, having realized it for myself through direct knowledge. Certainly he dwelt knowing and seeing this Dhamma. So I went to Uddaka and said, To what extent did Rama declare that he had entered and dwelt in this Dhamma? When this was said, Uddaka declared that the dimension of neither perception nor non-perception.
Okay, thank you. All right, now we can see here Rama, right? The name is like Uddaka Rama Buddha. So at that time, the Rama has passed away already. Because according to the Pali, we see it written in the past tense. Okay, so that's why he say, to what extent did Rama? So Rama has passed away. Only Uddaka remained, right? So it's the same method when he go for this second teacher, Uddaka Rama Buddha. Then the Uddaka Rama Buddha explained to him. So he just, when the teacher recite, he also recite. Then he already know the method, how to practice the meditation, jhana. So after that, he tried already. Okay. This is actually quite simple. Okay. Okay, now, at this point, he said, this friend is the extent to which I too have entered and dwelt in this Dhamma, having realized before myself through knowledge. Okay, now, so this means that here, the ascetic Gautama already say he also practiced the method. Okay, which method? This is the highest jhana. Neither perception nor non-perception. Fourth arupa jhana. Immaterial jhana. So this is the highest jhana. So normally we call it fourth arupa jhana, or you call it the eighth jhana. The highest here. If somebody practice jhana, this is the highest. Means at that time, the mind is so subtle that the perception is not working. It's a little bit perception. You know, the five aggregates, like we have the Vedana, feeling, and perception. So the perception is little bit. So this means that the mind is very, very subtle. Okay. All right. So it's a game for us, my friend. It's a great game for us that we have such companion in holy life. So the Dhamma Rama declared. Okay, when we say already, the Rama has passed away. So at that time, actually, according to some source, Uddaka, he did not get the method at all. So that's why he said Rama declared. Means the teacher told him the method is like this, but he didn't get the method. He just repeat what the teacher said. Declare and dwell in, having realized it for himself through direct knowledge, is the Dhamma. So he didn't say, I declare, I enter. He said, Lama declare. This means that Uddaka, he did not attain the jhana, only his teacher. And now the ascetic Gautama also has entered and dwell on it, having realized it for yourself through direct knowledge. Okay, and then so on. Okay, the Dhamma he knew is the Dhamma you know. The Dhamma you know is the Dhamma he knew. All right. So the teacher practiced successfully and ascetic Gautama practice successfully. As he was, so are you. As you are, so was him. Come, friend, lead the community. All right. So this is very different from earlier statement. So earlier statement of the first teacher is, okay, earlier teacher, you can see here. The earlier teacher is the Alala Kalama. He said, let us lead this community together, right? The first teacher said, do it together, means share the community half-half. But here is, he want ascetic Gautama to lead the community, not even share. He passed it to him. Why? Because the main reason is because he did not attend the method. The teacher attended the method, but he himself, Udaka, did not attend the method. That's why he asked ascetic Gautama to lead his community. That's the reason here. Okay, I think let's finish the next paragraph. In this way, the Udaka Rama, my companion in holy life, placed me in the position of teacher. You can see here. He put him as a teacher. Because ascetic Gautama's meditation is higher than him. That's why he can be a teacher to Udaka and pay him great honor. But the thought occurred to me, this Dharma leads not to disenchantment, to dispassion, to cessation, to stealing, to direct knowledge, to awakening, not abiding. So this method, the 8 jhana, the very high jhana, does not lead to Nibbana. But only, let's say, after he passed away, he will reborn in this place. It's a place where the mental energy is very subtle, but no body. All right. So this is called the immaterial jhana. So he's not happy, he leave it. Okay. So okay, then we will stop here. Okay, before I stop, any questions? Yeah. Kimpa, you want to ask something? Yes.
Okay, two questions. One is that, is it true that since before Buddha was enlightened, he attained enlightenment, so there was nobody who can obtain or attain Sotapanna?
Yeah, right. Before Buddha became enlightened, there's no vipassana. They're only jhana. So you can see all these teachers, they have very good jhana, very deep jhana. So before Buddha gained enlightenment, only samatha exists in the world. So the people at the India time, they will practice either ascetic practice, or if they like these two teachers, they at least they practice very deep jhana. But this method does not lead to cessation of suffering, does not lead to nibbana. That's why the Buddha, the ascetic Gautama, he know that he practiced very, very high jhana, but it does not lead to any anyway, just lead to very peace or very calm of mind. That's why the ascetic Gautama decided to leave these two teachers. Okay, so later after that he practiced by himself. He became enlightenment. He was disturbed by the Mara and finally become enlightened. But when he enlightened, his enlightenment was not due to these two teachers, because he gave up their method already. He left the method already. So we can say these two teachers were the teacher to ascetic Gautama, but nothing to do with enlightenment. Okay.
Okay, my second question is,
Yes.
sorry, what's that? Let me organize my thought. So, since Buddha was not enlightened during that material time, so how did he know aesthetic Gautama? How did he know that these two methods will not lead to cessation of sufferings? What is the benchmark and so on? Because from what I read from the sutta, I think there's no explanation on this.
Yeah, because this method, what it leaves is when you practice this method, you gain into the very deep jhana. It's very calm and peaceful. That's all. That's the end result, very calm and peaceful. When you're inside the jhana, you're very calm and peaceful. When you come out of it, the defilement is still there. So the ascetic Gautama know that the defilement is not totally terminated. Okay, because at that time he was, even though he can get very good jhana, but when he come out from jhana, he's still whirling. This means that not the enlightened state. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so we just share the merits. A very short one, okay? So imano punya bagam sabba satanam dema. Imano punya bagam sabba satanam dema. Imano punya bagam sabba satanam dema. Idam no nyatina hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idam no nyatina hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idam no nyatina hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. We share this merit with all sentient beings. May they obtain this merit and be very happy. Let this merit go to our relatives who have passed away. May our relatives be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, I hope you all learn a lot from this session, all right? So I think it's interesting to learn direct from the Buddha's teaching.